Welcome to Whores Talk Horror.
We're not really whores. We just like wordplay.
Hello, welcome to Whores Talk Horror. I'm Sharon.
And I'm Melinda.
We decided not to post a regular episode this week in light of all the things that are happening around the country and also around the world. Like many of you listening, I'm sure a lot of you have been having similar feelings that most of the things in your life now have become a lot less meaningful. For me personally, my job, this podcast, or even just going for a run all seem completely unimportant after watching all the protests that have been happening every day around the world for the past week. Seeing so many people coming together to fight injustice and also having serious conversations and taking actions in order to end the systemic and institutionalized racism that has plagued this world for hundreds of years has been a beautiful and inspiring thing, and just makes the mundane seem even more mundane. It is extremely important for all of us to do our part to help in this fight. Since Mindy and I have a platform with an audience and listeners, we thought we would use this opportunity to share with you some resources on how to help do that. Yes, we are both white women, and we are not here to talk over the voices of people of color. That is not our job. We are here to listen, learn, and support.
So we wanted to share these resources with you so that you can be stronger supporters and also educate yourselves. Because let's face it, it's up to white people to do the work themselves. The following resources were shared by folks at my job, friends, etc. And while my job will remain nameless, I feel inclined to mention that our CEO actually held an all-staff meeting, well, virtually, of course, allowing everyone in our organization to talk about our feelings regardless of skin color and to create a safe space for our colleagues of color to share how these recent events have affected them, their families, their neighborhoods, everything. And one reoccurring theme kept coming up. If you're not sure how to help, not sure if you're helping enough, or if you just want to know how best to be an ally, ask. Almost all of my non-white colleagues and friends were unanimous about that. But as most of my white colleagues then agreed, and I swear I do not work for some liberal organization, I just got lucky with my job. But asking really is not enough. Where these movements tend to lose speed is in the follow through. So if you want to do more, or you think you should do more, here are some links in no particular order that may help get the ball rolling. We'll also list all of the following links in our episode description, so don't try and have to write down all of these URLs. The first link is an article from 2017, but I think it's still relevant. It's called For Our White Friends Desiring to Be Allies by Courtney Ariel. Like I said, it's from 2017, but relevant as fuck. Author Ariel speaks from the heart about approaching race in discussion and how white people can be, well, better allies. It's a thoughtful and a fantastic read, and I highly recommend it. The National Museum of African American History and Culture has tons of fantastic info. There are just a plethora of articles you can just lose yourself in a deep dive in, but I recommend their Talking About Race, which they have just recently published in light of everything that's been happening. The Obama Foundation, of course, has plenty of resources, but just recently, Obama himself gave a speech reimagining police in the wake of continued police violence. This is on YouTube, actually, but we'll post the link, and I can't recommend digging through the foundation's website enough because, again, endless resources there. Then there's the Anti-Racism Resource Guide, which talks about those of us who use social media and how to approach race on social media, which, let's be honest, that's all of us listening to this. So I recommend we all take a gander at that article. And Black Lives Matter, the movement, actually has an audio series called Black Lives Matter, What Matters? And it combines documentary narrative with interviews to illuminate specific timely issues, aiming to create safe dialogue to promote freedom, justice, and collective liberation. What matters is a salve and a safe place where we can connect, learn, think freely, and transform the world. I mean, give it a listen. Hell yeah, that sounds good to me. Sharon, if people want to donate, is there a way they can do that to help people?
Absolutely. You can donate to the Bail Project at bailproject.org. You can also donate to the ACLU or the NAACP Defense Fund, the Equal Justice Initiative, and of course, the Black Lives Matter movement. And we will have links to where you can donate to all these different wonderful organizations in this episode description. We do understand that people need distractions from what is going on in the world today, like listening to podcasts, and we will be back next week with regular episodes. I hope that everyone is staying safe and healthy because we also still have a pandemic going on as well. That has not gone away. We also hope you take the time to read, learn, and grow during this time. If you're still on quarantine and you're stuck in the house, do you really understand all the different ways white privilege benefits you while denying so many others the same opportunities? We take so many things for granted as white people. Do you really understand what systemic racism is? If not, educate yourself on those topics and share this new knowledge with friends and family. I still have family members who say shit like, I'm not racist because I had black friends in college, or I was poor growing up, white privilege doesn't exist. I've tried and tried and tried to educate these people, my family, friends of family, not my friends, but people who end up at, family parties. I've tried to argue with them until I was blue in the face. For some reason, they still don't get it, but I'm not going to stop trying. I've definitely seen progress being made with specific people in my family. So, the more you talk to them, the more you educate them, hopefully things will change. Do not give up.
Agreed. And I've been in those same situations, Sharon. And it's not like this current situation that with racism, with the outrage that goes along with it, with violence, all of it, that it's going to go away. And I think that right now, or even in general, when stuff like this happens, a lot of people have that view. Like, yes, we're all outraged right now, but like a month from now, or at, like Sharon mentioned, like at Thanksgiving, I know I've had that where an uncle or somebody makes some racist ass comment and you just let it slide so as, quote, not to get political during the holidays, as my mom will sometimes say. Well, it's not really getting political. It's about educating. Explain why it is that your uncle or his teen son can walk down the street in a hoodie and not think twice about it, while any other man with a different skin tone doesn't have that luxury. And even when all the recent news starts to die down, remember that this issue isn't going to go away. A phrase that I've been hearing all week that I kind of really love is stay curious. Maybe we won't be hearing George Floyd's name in 2 months. But stay curious. Keep looking for ways to help. Ask your colleagues who may not share your background or your skin tone about their experiences. Find ways to keep helping, keep donating, or keep being an ally or a better ally. Because that is the only way we will keep these injustices relevant. To show those in power that we are still here, we are still vigilant, and still intolerant of anything other than equality. And hopefully someday, to quote my man Lee Adama from Battlestar Galactica, all of this has happened before, but it doesn't have to happen again.
All right. Well, we just want to say that we hope everyone out there is staying safe and healthy and take care of each other. Please take care of each other. Stay hopeful. Keep fighting. Once the protests end, once, we all start getting back to a more normal way of life, is, with everything, with the pandemic, and don't forget about this. Don't let this escape from your memory,
right? Just because it might not be frontline news anymore doesn't mean it's still not happening. And that's one thing that I think especially we as white people need to remember, because it's really easy for us to forget. But unfortunately for our friends who are not white, it's really not that easy for them to forget. So stay curious, people. Keep vigilant and keep the argument going and keep the conversation going.
All right. Well, thank you, Mindy, for helping me do this and sharing those resources.
Thank you, Sharon.
Go to our episode description to find links to all the resources that we shared with you. Tune in next week where we will get back to our regularly scheduled programming. And as always, thanks for getting creepy with us. Sharon, do you want a beer?